I want to share a few of our stories from 2021 and 2017 because we were just kind of chatting before we jumped on here of which year was crazier, why they were crazier, and just sharing some stories. So for me, you mentioned 2021 was crazier, and overall, like sales volume was more nuts by far, but we were just set up better. So we had been through it before. 2016, 17, it was me and Jamie literally running around working 18 hours a day. It was insanity. And you mentioned you in your office with your dad and Devin and what's the other person's name? Nairi. The four of you just like printing and stapling and like things are going crazy. Bells are ringing. It's nuts. 21 offers come in. And that was me every Monday night. I would purposely plan multiple offers on Mondays. One, do at 3 or 4. One, do at 5. One, do at 7. And I would just have pieces of paper in front of me. And as offers came in, I would write down the important things, the agent's name, their phone number, and just keep track. So like anytime someone called me, I just look through my sheets and be like, okay, 778912. Okay, that's John. John, what's up, buddy? You're like 50 grand short. You know this. You got to come up. And crazy. It was insanity. There would be Mondays where I'm handling 3 multiple offers that each have 6 to 10. I'm writing there was a Monday where I think I wrote 7 or 8 offers for buyers. So you're dealing with 30 to 40 contracts that are going all over the place, and it's just complete insanity. And we came out of that year after all these wild experiences, and we just said to each other, we're like, there has to be a better way. Like our service is suffering here. Like we're still very knowledgeable in the industry. We're giving people good advice, but we have 35 clients going to open houses across the Lower Mainland, and we're not going to any of them because we're doing our own, right? We have 8, 12, 14 open houses each weekend that the 2 of us are doing, and we just can't, there's no capacity to be at all of these with buyers. So there's times where we're like writing offers on homes that we haven't even seen the home.
Yeah.
And it was just, there's not enough time in a day. And so that's when we started growing the team, is like, it doesn't seem like we are losing traction in this industry. It seems like we just keep getting busier and busier. And we want to share this service with other people so that they can grow in this industry. But we also want to share it with more people, with more consumers that we're now starting to turn away. Like it was at the point where we would have leads come into our email, and I would literally just forward it to another realtor in our Sutton office. We were at Sutton at the time. I just forward it. Be like, Marco,
that's wild.
I literally don't have 3 minutes to email this person. And we just send it, just if they ever transact, just send me 25%. I trust you. See you later.
So that was your 2016, 2017 year?
16, it started getting crazy. 17 was 160 transactions, just me and Jamie. It was wild. And then there was like a little bit of a roller coaster. So we were really prepared for 2021. And so to me, it felt like a pretty routine year. Things were crazy, but we had seen worse before, like crazier. And so when a listing would get 12 offers, it was like me and one other person usually dealing with multiple offers that evening. And it would just be like, okay, Monica, you're calling these 5. I'm calling these 5. We're going to go in the opposite rooms. We're going to come back and we're going to wait till they call us back. And then we're going to give the seller good news. And so it was like a machine. We went from 2017, 2016, there would be multiple offer situations that lasted 3 or 4 hours, which is short in terms of the full average of the industry. But 2021 was like 45 minutes. Like, John, you're not even close. Buddy.
Do you know why it's 45 minutes?
Not even close. Yeah. You got to call over ask. 15 minutes.
15K over ask and 400 over ask. It's an easy decision.
So one of the things I firmly believe in is anyone that writes an offer gets a phone call.
Always.
I don't care if you're 150 under asking and the leading offer is 300K away from you, call every single person. So if there's times where you're getting 20 plus offers and it takes a little bit more than 45 minutes, but it's a quick phone call. Thanks so much for your offer. Really like that letter. Unfortunately, you're not even close. They got to come up significantly. Otherwise, we're working with another group. And if their agent's message back is like, they're stretching themselves, they're at the top of their budget. Okay, thanks so much. It's just not going to work for this one. We're going to work with another group. Thank you. 30-second phone calls. And we just dialed in a system.
Yeah. 2021, I would say, was kind of like that reputation year. It was like, who who are you going to work with
Mm-hmm.
and who are you going to remember? Because
Yep.
there was a lot of bridges burnt.
Yeah.
A lot of guys that didn't give you the opportunity, didn't give you the call back when you felt like you deserved it. 2016 for us wasn't as crazy because it was just me with this really small brokerage, just Dad and I. So we didn't have the capacity. We didn't even have DocuSign at the time. So I was going to houses. I was driving to houses. We missed an initial, back to Ladner. So 2021, I can say we were prepared. I wasn't prepared for the numbers. I wasn't prepared for multiple six-figure over asking. I wasn't prepared for the 7 houses that we sold sight unseen over the internet, dating myself. But that kind of stuff is like, you buy a house over the net. That's wild without seeing it. We did that 7 times in 2021. The story that you were mentioning before, like, it's probably a nice October rainy day. We had 4 directions on that day. The office was just brewing. It was just like, it was a sight of like Looney Tunes, you know? When you run fast, those little sticks are behind you.
Yeah.
We were like that. Dad came into the office. Dev was printing offers. Nairi was printing offers. I was on the phone. The email was like this. And you were checking it and it was coming in. And Dad came in and he looked at us and said, "What the heck's going on?" "Dad, these are offers. We got like 26 offers on this condo." He goes, "That condo?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's not even nice." I'm like, "Yeah, 26 people think it's nice." Yeah. And he looked at us, he stood back, he took a sip of coffee, he looked at us and said, like, "This is musical chairs. This will stop and you'll never see this again." And I don't think we will see an active market again. I think next spring will be really good. But I don't know if we are going to see the jumps that we saw. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we're going to see on a single family house, 400K over ask, 600K over ask. You had people going all in and borrowing from other family members as well. And only having Nutri-Grain bars to eat for the next month. Like, it was crazy.
I said that after 2017.
Did you?
I said to Jamie, like, we were kind of winding down the year, November, December, whatever it is, and we go out for a beer and we're just like recapping some crazy stories. And I said, I don't know if we'll ever see this again. This was insane. Like, at this point, I'm 4 years in, 3.5, 4 years into the industry. So I'm pretty new. But I'm like, how do you beat that? That was wild. And then 2021 happens and it's crazier and the numbers are bigger, much bigger than 2017. And there's as many or more offers on a lot of properties that we saw. So then I'm thinking to myself, like, we have a serious problem in Greater Vancouver. And that is, when a house lists, there's 150 people that want to buy it.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? There's not enough homes for sale. And nobody is addressing that issue. So my thought now is, we're going to see this every few years until that issue is addressed. And I could see, who the hell knows what's happening with interest rates right now. Bank of Canada is like hinting at maybe there's going to be another hike later this year. So if it keeps going up, who knows? We may have a slow 12, 18 months, but the problem is still there. The problem is there's not enough inventory. And I saw this, I can't remember the exact numbers, so I'm just going to use random numbers, but it was something like there's 7,500 homes available in Vancouver in July or something like that, which is 2,500 less than the 10-year average. So in a slow market, that interest rates have climbed 3% in a very short period of time, that sales volume is way down, the inventory is still well below 10-year average. And to me, that is a serious problem. That means as soon as interest rates start stabilizing, the frenzy is coming back.
Oh, I got 42, 41 as of today, stale buyers. 41. I have 41. So
that's wild.
Where they're going to come in, they're going to all have to jump in. It's interesting you say that, because I think I heard this from somebody, I think the next big one that we have, and we're going to have a big one, we have the biggest transition of generational wealth in history coming up. And I know that because anybody that's in their 60s to 70s right now are thinking of retiring. And I would say that's maybe the last generation that actually have things called RSPs, a paid off house, savings and investment property, owning a company for 40 years, not changing careers. That's not like that for our generation. People aren't saving as much. They don't do RSPs. They don't believe in it. So when these 60 and 70-year-olds are the ones that have been passing the money on for these multiple offers, a lot of them, but when they do sell what they have and sell that company and sell all those investments and give that to some of their kids or grandkids that can't afford to get in, you are decimated as a buyer when you're up against little Sally and has Uncle Ron behind her, and Uncle Ronnie just chucks in 800 G bombs. You're toast, right? So,
800. That's an unfathomable number. Like,
I do have a client that was given 600, and this is a mid 20-year-old from a family member. So, all of that generational wealth that's coming is going to be transferred. It's going to go a lot of it into real estate, and you're going to be giving this to 20 and 30-year-olds who are going to rip a lot of things again and buy multiple things. So that's our next big one, I think, less than 5 years. Because all of those parents, including mine, that have been in a house for 30 to 40 years, they're going to make that change. They're going to get out. They're going to finally downsize, get in that little master on the main townie, right? By the way, we got to start a townhouse complex, gated master on mains with lofts and basements for all their crap. That's the biggest market ever. You would sell a billion of those things, 1.5 to 1.8, all of them.
You'd sell a lot of them, but it's not the best use of the land.
It's not the best use of the land. Then you got to charge $2 million.
Yeah.
But I think that's the next big one. I think that's the next big one. And there's a lot of money out there, and it's not a fluke that there's still all these buyers sitting there. 41 sitting. I talk to them all the time. They will all buy one time, but when mine jump in and yours jump in and them jump in, and we all have 20 of them, look out.
What is your message to those people when you're communicating with them, whatever, monthly, however often you're reaching out to a stale buyer?
I think the communication is how I'm dealing with on my listings and what I'm seeing. So, I'll call them up. Hey, Jeff, I know you're interested in a townhouse. I got one kind of similar to what you were looking at. This is the situation. We've had it on for 3 weeks. We're going to drop it by 50. Like, these are good deals now. These are good deals because this little 729 place that was selling for 9, why don't you take a chance, maybe get in now before you see somebody ramp it to 8? So I let all the buyers know what I'm seeing on my stuff because that's front lines, right? We're way better than the news and the paper and everything. I know by touch base what's going on. So when I relay that to them, they're like, "Oh, great." So
this is part of the reason we do the real estate podcast. Is the media? There's so much fabricated crap, and the clickbaity taglines that they use are just, they make me cringe every single time I see them. So part of the reason for that real estate podcast is literally just to share what is actually happening. We're not trying to convince people of anything or tell people use us as realtors. We just want consumers to be better educated than reading the Vancouver Sun or the Globe and Mail. Like, it's just crap.
Agreed.
So this is my message to people, is I've seen 3 outstanding buying opportunities in my career thus far. A lot of it is either you're competing in the 8 or 9 years that I've been a realtor, but the absolute best time I've ever seen was as soon as COVID hit. COVID was March 2020. Literally overnight, the world shut down and single family homes in the markets that we work in went down 20 to 25%, literally overnight. There was a listing that we had that was going live or planning to go live, and the world shut down. And so I postponed a couple of weeks, but we were talking about like listing at 1.4, and it would probably get multiple offers and sell above that. And we eventually sold it 3 months later for 1.1.
Yeah.
So that's basically 25%. And I did a podcast in April, I think, of 2020. And I was like, this is not going to last forever. The world's not going to be closed forever. This is probably going to be short term. Maybe it's 6 months. Maybe it's a year. Most people didn't think it was going to be 2.5 years. But eventually, it's going to come back real strong. So like, if you're actively looking to upsize, this is a phenomenal time. And it's the same thing I'm saying right now. And it was the same thing I said in probably early to middle of 2019. We had pretty slow year where we saw single family drop pretty significantly quite quickly. And these opportunities, it seemed like, I just mentioned 3 in a 5 or 6 year period. but they don't happen all that often. And COVID kind of was an anomaly that is probably, we're not going to see another situation like that for the rest of our lives. But those opportunities in Greater Vancouver don't come along that often. And so when we have buyer hesitancy that, oh, interest rates are climbing, the values are going to come down even farther, you're like, eventually there's going to be a bottom. Could be today. Could be in 6 months from now. I don't know. But when you look at March 2022 compared to today, and it's a 20% difference, that seems like a pretty good time to sell your condo that lost 5% and get the house that lost 20.
Right. Great time to go up.
It's a phenomenal time to go up and a terrible time to go down.
Terrible time to go down.
Literally. The downsides of conversations are totally different. You're like, do you need to leave? Do you really need to get to that condo right today? I mean, we could hold on for a while. Can you hold on for like 12 to 24 months? We could probably do that. Okay, call me in 12 months.
Do that. Makes sense.
Right? It could be a $500,000 swing in 12 months.
Yeah, could be.
Right?
But I look at it and say, you're paying what? You're paying $3,600 a month to rent this thing? Come on. You're paying $3,600 a month to rent this thing. And your mortgage is going to be $38, a little bit more. Like, figure it out. Like, try to get some kind of, money from somewhere if you can.
Yeah.
Because this rent that some people it's gross. The charges of rent that they're paying people. Townhouses in Willoughby are now getting 36 for a double side-by-side, 32 for a tandem, $3,200. You could pick them up now for $725.
I just rented my townhouse in Port Moody. It's 1,250 square feet, 3-bedroom tandem garage, 4,300.
That's disgusting. 4,300. Kind of, what are you doing now? No, but
like, this is the market though.
That's the market. There's a market for that.
Yeah.
There's nothing to rent. So eventually people are going to say, hey, Uncle Ron, let's do it. And there's a bunch of Uncle Rons that are going to chip in to get these people back in, and a lot of money coming in the market. So I saw a stat the other day. I saw a little chart, and it was a house in Cloverdale, 1-1. Now it was 1-4, and now you can pick it up for 1-1, just like you said. Payments this, a 3.5 interest rate to a 5.25.
Yeah. The
payment was actually a little bit less because you're buying it for $350K less.
Yeah.
And to me, if something goes down by $350K in a year, you're just buying equity. You're buying into it. That thing's going up by $250 again. When the confidence comes back in the market, stock markets, everything, it has a run, right? I think we're coming up for a big run in the stock market, especially like I don't know if it's gonna be this winter. I think this winter might be a little cold and dark.
Yeah.
But real cold and dark for all you meme stock people. But honestly, like coming into the spring, I think we could just be a massive run. And I mean like months, like 2 months of just green, right? Like get Tesla back, get over 1,000, but it's all gonna come back. So, and that comes back, and the confidence come back, and the real estate comes back. And that's the same conversation again. I should have.
Exactly.
Should have. So, I think one thing that we do all the time is we just keep educating people all the time, whether you're a seller or you're a buyer. If you're a seller, every week, I'm showing you the back end. I'm showing you the analytics. I'm showing you that there's nothing going on, but at least I'm showing you. And if it's like that all the time, at least I'm giving you some updates, right? If you're a buyer, I'm giving you updates too, and you appreciate that. And one day you are going to say, let's do it. That's all you can really do, is just give your people just like the best service ever.
One of the things I say in every single first meeting, whether it's a listing or a buyer, I say it's my job to provide you information, educate you on this process. It's your job to make the decision. So like when we're talking about valuations for homes, this is the realistic number of where it's going to sell today. It's not what your neighbor sold for in February. I'm really sorry. It's just not there. It was 1.7. Now it's 1.45. If you'd like to sell it in 30 days, it's probably going to need to be 1.45, 1.4. You can try it at 1.6, but this is what's going to happen. It's your decision to make. I'm just providing you information. And I think that builds a lot of trust rather than like, no, this is the number we're going to list at.
Yeah.
I think people value being honest in those appointments. And that's something that I've learned over time is when you're new and you don't have as much experience to share in those listing appointments, it's easy for a strong-willed seller to say, my home's worth 1.8.
Yeah.
This kitchen is the best kitchen in all of the land. It is.
I have a giant rock in the backyard. It came from Vernon. Yeah. It's interesting you say that because next week at our office, we're having it's called The Price is Right. It's a round table. We have like the bigger realtors kind of teach people what they see, how to price homes, how do you do it? And same conversations, right? Like, don't be afraid to say no, because even for those new realtors, taking listings just because you're not getting your $300 MLS fee back. That photographer's not, your $1,000 is gone. Like, it's very important as an agent to tell the truth and not burn a bridge, because you're going to lose listings.
Mm-hmm.
But like, make sure you congratulate that seller. Just let them know that thanks for the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're listing it with somebody else for that much more, but if I can help you in the future, let me know. And 9 times out of 10, if that expired, there's going to be some communication again.
Totally.
If you didn't burn a bridge. And that's the type of market we're in, right? So being honest, it's just the best trait anybody can have in any kind of sales job. People know right away if you're honest. And I tell all the sellers, guys, this could be a bit painful for a bit, but I'm going to have regular communication with you and everything we're going to talk about. And when there's feedback on the house, expect it to be some negative feedback, because we're not going to get multiples.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you what's going on. And I think people love that, right?
In listing appointments, do you tell them what the negative feedback is going to be?
Always.
Okay.
I prep everybody
most
for
of the time,
that.
Yeah. I say, when
they're
buyers
not going to
walk
call me
through your
back.
home, this is what they're going to say. They're going to love your big rock in the background.
You're going to love the rock.
They're going to love your white countertops that you just put in. They look phenomenal. Awesome.
Beautiful.
Thanks
What
for
about the
doing that.
awning?
They're going to complain that you really only have one bedroom because 2 of them don't have closets. They're going, whatever. And often people don't really take offense to that, but it is such good preparation for in 30 days from now when they list 100 grand or 50 grand higher than what you've suggested. And all the feedback has been exactly what you told them. They're like,
Price reduction. Here we go.
we thought this guy was pretty good. That's why we hired him, but he's very, very good. He knows exactly what's going to happen.
That's
in every
a great
single
point.
situation, right?
You look like an all-star.
Yeah.
Right. When you pull up to a house and it's on an interstate and the homeowner comes to the front door and their mouth moves, but you can't hear it.
Yeah.
People are going to say it's too noisy.
And they tell you just get used to it.
I don't notice anymore. I don't notice when the 351 bus flies by. Listen, guys, I couldn't even park here. 4-ways are on. Like, it's important to prep people. And what I always do when I sit down is I say to people, we're on the same team.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you a bunch of negative stuff. You're going to hear negative stuff from other people, but we're going to get it sold.
Yeah.
And they love it. And they're open. After a few weeks, they're open for suggestions and changes, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So our percentage of selling is really high compared to expiring, because we list it where it should be already. And so it's not that crazy, right? Unless the market is totally dead, we're pricing where we should be. And usually it is the lowest in the building right now. Usually it is the sharpest in the neighborhood, right? That's the way the market is. But if all of you people want to make a move and go to something else, the first thing that I bring in is examples of what you can buy and where it is now. And people love it. They get excited. We would love a detached Ty and Langley. Guess what? They're down to $1 million now, guys, with a suite. Look at this one just sold. Okay, what does that do? They look at me like, let's get rocking.
Totally.
Right? So
when you do the math with people too, right? When you're upsizing, when you're downsizing, when you're doing this juggle of buying and selling at the same time, the equation is the important part. Your sale price is not that important if what you're buying is $400,000 less than it was 6 months ago. That's the important number to share with people.
Yeah.
So you're showing them a comp that just sold for $1 million. Guess what? We can buy something like this for $1 million. That's $400K down from where it was in March. And your condo went down 100 grand. That's a $300,000 win. And then people are like, oh, you're right. So it doesn't really matter that Rob, my neighbor, just sold 6 months ago for $850 and you're telling me $750? It doesn't really matter. Because I'm going to be $300,000 ahead of him because he paid 1.4 for the same house that I'm paying $1 million.
you got it. Rob overpaid.
Rob?
He's got his rock.
Rob, don't worry, Rob. It'll come back.
Rob,
it'll be okay in a few
Rob,
years.
stay there
Rob.
22 years. Yeah, those are fantastic points. If you want to keep a good relationship with your client, actually sell the house, and like almost pretty much you'll guarantee sell it because they're going to listen to you till whatever it needs to go to, right? So I always find showing the client the next move, hopefully it's up, is going to make your life a lot easier. And that's what Devin and Nairi are good at too, is helping kind of plan the next move.
Mm-hmm.
Communication, so important. I feel like we over communicate so people don't feel like they're in the weeds. And at the end of the day, it pretty much just says, what do you guys want to do? We'll listen to whatever you want.
I'll actively tell people that I'm probably going to annoy you with how much I communicate with you. You can tell me to slow down.
Yeah.
And rarely do they.
Better than quiet.
It is one of the worst possible. So basically my goal with any client that I'm working with is proactive communication, meaning they never ask me a question. So they never say, hey, what did that house sell for 2 blocks away from me? What did that buyer say walking through the house yesterday at the open house? Whatever. 100% always in front of those questions. That's the goal. And I'm trying to, running a team is a challenge because you're trying to get all of these bad situations that you've become better from in the past into their head, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to give them 1,000 transactions worth of experiences. And it's very difficult to stress the importance of something as simple as a client messaging you saying, hey, how did the open house go an hour after the open house? Versus as you're walking out the door, hey, we had 13 groups. We had 3 groups. One of them really liked your kitchen and your big rock. I feel like big rocks are coming back.
Big rocks are coming back. You got to have the boulder. We had a meeting 3 weeks ago, and it was titled Limit the Communication. Exactly what you just said. So I will say to the other team members, you are going to get asked this and you're going to get asked this. You need to, the second you lock up, you need to send this message. I don't want to get a message saying, hey guys, anything going on? How'd the inspection go? Just fire something off. The less communication that you have as a team, especially being maybe one of the team leader roles, is good on everybody's head. The group chat doesn't need to fill up with those answers, right? Just tell people what you were there for a reason. Let them know. Mm-hmm. So all of our sellers and all of our buyers get the same thing. They just get that extra communication all the time, and they appreciate it, right?
It's the difference between someone walking or someone purchasing a home with you, let's say, and in 5 years from now, if your communication was lights out, on top of everything, they never had to ask you a question. They are literally talking over dinner, their spouse or their family or whoever, and they're saying, when do we call Ty? Versus, who should we should start reaching out to realtors to sell our home, right?
Little Liam just got his license. We should give him a whirl.
Totally.
Look out, Liam. Yeah. I'm sure there are a lot of realtors that do watch this. I feel like this is a really good learning curve for newer agents as well. Can't stress the fact that you got to join a team for a bit. You got to jump on a team. You got to be with somebody because you got to learn those 1,000 transactions or 100. I would probably say 100 transactions in a year watching is like you could gain 5 years of experience. Nairi didn't know what a contract looked like when she came to work for us. And we crack out a 2021 year and she's brand new. She comes into 2021, watches what goes on, and is a rock star. Acts like she's a 10-year veteran because she saw the appliance that we had to replace, how we fixed that, how we did the perimeter drainage, what to look for in inspection, where did all that asbestos go, like the testing place. You learned all that. We figured it out. We got through the deals. So newer agents in a slower market, I think you need to just join and talk about things all the time. You have something to talk about. Deals will trickle in and they'll still keep going. It's not like the 10 a month, but it's like a really learn each one now. 2021, it was like finger on the pulse. Now I think you can really, each one, full learn it completely. see what we did well, be involved in the whole chat. I think it's good.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are a bit newer, join something for a year. Join something for a year, or two, or please don't leave. Stay forever.
When you're bringing on a new person like Nairi last year or 2 years ago, whenever that was, what are you looking for in that person? Because with us, the question's coming because we're so selective. And we probably, I mean, honestly, I would think it's higher based on like how public we are and like we do a lot of volume. So I would assume younger people would reach out to us more often. But I'm going to say we probably get 1 to 2 emails a month of like new people saying, hey, I just got licensed. I'd love to join a team. I'd love to connect with you to see if we're a good fit. And most of the time it's just like, I'm happy to meet you for a coffee, answer some questions, but like we're so selective on who we bring onto the squad. We're so selective on the personality, and like you need to have these really important characteristics, maybe is the right word, but like that we can build off of. And one of them is you need to really care about people and customer service. You can learn how to write a contract. You can learn from the realtors on our team how to handle multiple offers. You can learn what to look for and when you're walking through a home with a buyer. You can learn that stuff. I find that if you are not obsessed with like making the consumer in front of you as happy as possible for their situation, it's very challenging to teach that.
I feel the same. Hiring is hard. Dev and I were burning out. So Dad comes in, looks good. We have mutual clients together. I hope Dad stays with me forever because he's the best, right? He's a good face for the business. He's like the mascot, BCG mascot. Diane, who's our admin client care role. I don't even know how to even go into and do a form. Web forms? I don't even know how to do it. So Di does all of the forms, everything, preps everything. So she's amazing. She's been with us for 20 years since I started. So Dev's been with me now for 3. He's been a realtor for 11. So like, now how do we get a new person in here? What's this going to look like? I feel like a female role was important. I feel like another male role, it starts to like develop this kind of straight male thing because Di's not seen. She's behind the scenes. So we wanted female. Made a little video, put it out there, 47 inquiries. So I had 47 interviews, phone calls, meetings. And it was interesting trying to meet everybody and figure out what do you see working with us? Like, where do you want to be? Okay. And so Dev won that question when he got hired because his answer was one of the best I've ever heard of with anybody working. David and I were partners at the time, David Smith, and we sat down at the table and we asked Dev, where do you see working with us? And Dev said, well, that's easy, guys. I'm Robin to 2 Batmans. And instantly he was hired. It was just, that's the best answer, right? Like I feel like Robin is the perfect fit. It's not way under. It's like, you need that to operate, right? And that's Dev. When I go through the client, we have like a beautiful book that we sit down with because I'm going to win every listing with this book. I break it out. Aiden we're laying in the field on the farm. It's kind of like page 1, heartstrings. Page 2, team. And people ask, well, who are these people? And I say, well, it's I have two Robins to Batman, and Nairi and Devin are Robins to Batman. That's who they are. They're the best. So bringing that in was tough. It definitely helped that I knew her from years back and a friend with her husband. I sold her 3 of her homes. So that had a connection over the years, condo, townhouse, and a house.
Yeah.
So, but choosing like who's going to, I always look at it and say, either you're an experienced realtor that want to be part of a culture and you're doing deals on your own. And that's who we're looking for now. And anybody doing 20 to 30 deals probably would like to be on their own. But if you're doing like that 1 a month and want to be part of something, I love that. That's who we're looking for now. Okay. Starting from fresh, you got to be a massive hustler. You got to get your own stuff, but at the same time, you got to do a damn good job. And there's not a lot of those people out there that continuously do it day in and day out, day in and day out. So it's tough finding that right person, but they're out there, and clearly there's a lot of people that want to be part of something. I was overwhelmed. I was just was so it was like humbling to have these people. I wanted to sit with you and coffee, and I always make the time to go for a coffee. But I know within 10 seconds if we're going to be a fit. How you talk.
Totally.
What's your family life? How do you feel about this? Are you cool at 10 p.m. chats? You know, how do you feel about me telling you something to do? Because that, I still feel, it doesn't feel good when I have to tell somebody what to do. I don't like that feeling. I'm not any better than you are. I just need the help. And it just so happens that I'm the lead role in getting most of the leads. So I need your help. So Devin and Nairi, I hope they are with me right to the end of being in real estate. They're just, that's the type of people they are.
What do you guys do, if much, but like culture wise? Do you hang out much together outside of talking about real estate?
That's a great question. We obviously we have like our outside things that we do. We don't hang out too much. Birthdays, things like that for sure. Christmas, birthdays, we'll hang out. But like on a Saturday night, will I go to Dev's house? No, I'll go play a round of golf with Dev. But I feel like you don't want to get too close. The last partnership that I had, great partnership, great guy. We hung out more as friends. So I think the friendship turning into business and then figuring out that fine line. Work is work. There's expectations. Getting really close, maybe not my thing, right? You're a great buddy. Dev's a great guy. I love to golf with you. But like hanging out every Thursday, probably not. Probably not. That's just my thing. I feel like we're really good where it's at. We each respect each other. We each can go for a round of golf. Talk about life, talk about work. Dev's wedding's coming up. Excited to go to Mexico with him. But it's probably not a weekly thing for sure. That's just, I feel like it really sets it. The business is great like that. I don't want it to be crossed where you feel very complacent. Maybe you're get really comfortable. Ty, you know, like I'm not going to do an open house on the weekend because I was giving her and I'm hungover and I don't care. Like we got these this day. We got to do it. Let's make it work.
Yeah.
So that's just how I feel. But
I think that like if we don't really have that problem, I feel like we've been pretty lucky in terms of who we brought on the team, that we have a few phenomenal personalities that just naturally jive. So when we do these team event things, whether it's like a birthday or like Christmas parties, or I try to meet with each realtor individually every 1 to 2 months. Just take them for a beer. How's your life? Like sure, real estate stuff comes up, but it's more like, how are you? What are you doing? I know we've been busy the last few months. How you doing mentally? Like this is a fucking draining career. Are you like exercising? That. Are you, you know, how's the girlfriend doing? Whatever. Just to try to like, I love the people on our team and I really enjoy the relationship building, but I completely agree that it needs to be professional most of the time. And we went away this year. We've been talking about doing this for a long time, like the realtors going on a trip somewhere.
Yeah, didn't you go to Palm Springs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about Whistler for a while, but it's like so close that we're trying to book it last second, and like realtors are never ever going to have the same days available last second. So we're just like, screw it. We're going to California. We're going for 4 nights. You're booking it off 2 months in advance. Everyone's going to be there. We did it from like Sunday to Thursday. So if we had open houses, we did them on Saturday the day before.
Yeah.
And then we were back by Thursday night. So it was whatever. And people were working down there. I think we sold 2 places while we were there for 4 days. But like, it was so much fun to just have like a little bit of a different environment relationship with each, you know, we're drinking and going out for dinner and like doing fun stuff.
You see a different side.
Totally. You see people, right? People rather than professionals, right? Not that I ever wear a tie, but like this like suit and tie mentality where you're putting on the professional Denny face in front of clients and you're taking this role of education in real estate very seriously versus like just hanging out, having a beer, watching a football game, you know, like
Or
whatever it is.
you got hammered on a swan in the pool.
One of us may have. It wasn't me.
Okay.
But at the same time, I appreciate how you explain that. And like, it shouldn't be a friendship. It should be a business relationship that works well because our personalities get along. And I see the opposite being hard to like give constructive criticism.
Mm-hmm.
When you're buddies first and then you team up, it's probably difficult to call someone out when they make a mistake or to say, hey, you know, that conversation didn't go very well. We just walked out of. Like, these are the few things I would have kind of adjusted and maybe come across a little bit more friendly, you know, whatever situation we're talking about. But I would think it would be quite challenging if the friend relationship is ahead of the business relationship.
Agreed. That's what I had. So it was at that point, it was either business or friendship. We wanted the friendship, and that was salvaged because we decided that we got to go our own way early, and each of us run a great business. We just put two great businesses together to try to make a super team. But when each of you are doing a lot and you're not seeing each other's stuff and clients, what's really the point?
Yeah.
Like, transactions were being done. I was never meeting the seller. I was never going into the house. I just knew there was a photo shoot. It was selling. I was getting a portion of the commission. Well, what's kind of the point of that? You're running a great business. Let's just do our own thing. Offices side by side still. Great business, better. Bringing in the team members that were not close before, but like, I know you, you're a good dude. You're an awesome girl. Way better. Good. We're jiving. We're like rocking. Like, good morning, guys. Talk to you tomorrow, guys. It's just the culture. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
My fear now is bringing in one that not only fits, but fits with each personality.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because the more fun you have, the more business you'll do, and everybody wins. And that's what works with our team. Everybody wins on every deal. Everybody's compensated on every deal, no matter if you touch it or not. That's why this group right now works. Can't give the pie to 20 people, but we can give the pie to what we have.
Interesting. That's
how we roll. And the attitude is great. Every night when there's a deal, everybody says, awesome work, guys, because everybody gets a portion of it. And that's what I interviewed maybe 15 teams before we started to learn. Okay, what's the lowest turnover? How are you keeping people? And how are people like excited about every deal? Diane, how's she going to get excited about a condo sale? She just did the paperwork. But what she does get excited about when she gets a portion of that, a set amount, every deal. She did 10 a month, 10 times that, bang, extra bonus. So celebrate the wins. I mean, like, I should get that tattooed. Celebrate the wins. We all win. We all smash that gong. So that's why right now it feels good. Growing it from here, it's not possible to make that work. So that's how we run it, and that's how we keep that. There's just that constant excitement.
It's interesting when me and Jamie started bringing on other agents. We met with, what'd you say, 10?
We met like 15 teams.
Yeah, I don't think we met that
Fraser
many.
Valley has a lot.
Yeah.
We have a lot in our office. We have a lot of Remax Treeland. So I just chatted with the leader in the groups, and I just asked, how do you compensate the team? If you don't mind, like, other than your classic 50-50 where people just peace out, like, what are you really doing to keep these people? And like, they're consistently doing great business. Like, you must be giving them more of an incentive to do that. And that's how I always feel. I always feel like if you bring something in, I'll take care of the expenses in terms of like the media and all that. But like, it's yours. You take more of a majority, not 50-50. I want you to grow. It's like the Costco model. Like, something's better than nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just do a bunch of it and everybody's happy. Works for us.
Our experience was the same. Like, we maybe met with 6 or 7, and we left every meeting and we just stand in the parking lot, like summarizing with each other and being like, it doesn't feel natural to me. Like I don't think we would be happy in that situation. I don't think we would be happy. I don't think the team members would be happy. And so we just, at the end of this like 6 or 7 meeting, we're looking at each other pretty frustrated and we're like, do we just wing it? Just see what happens, bring on the first person, see what feels right, and just go from there. Like, I think that's better than what we've heard. Right?
I like that.
Nothing was remotely our personalities. And so we have this business that generates a wild amount of leads in real estate. And so the majority of our business is like team generated leads that get dealt to other realtors on our team, that me and that realtor involved most of the transaction, that it would be probably 75% of our business. And so no one had that model. No one had a model where they were actively helping other realtors on their team grow businesses. And so a realtor naturally would say, well, what if you send me a Joe buys a condo, and in 3 years they call me back? Great. That's your lead, man.
That's right.
So you get a better percentage on that deal than you did for the first one, because that was the GD lead. But like, we want you to treat that person like gold. We want you to follow up every 6 months and ask them how they're doing and their family and their dog and all that kind of stuff. We want you to actively invite them to our GD parties. We want you to go have a beer with them at those GD parties. And we want them to call you. And so your business is growing inside of this GD business.
Everybody wins.
And literally no one we talked to did anything remotely close to that. It was mostly like, I take all the listings, you can help me with the buyer, you can take 25, 50, whatever % of that buyer, but that's always going to be my lead. When Joe calls us back, it's my lead. I again get the listing. Totally.
You're not going to last.
Totally. And we're like, how many people do you have on your team? 7. How many of them have been there more than 2 years? 1. Well, it takes so much time to educate newer realtors into this like system of service that we're developing.
Yeah. And
so if they're leaving without even getting to the end of that like education of this service, it's costing so much time. And is it even worth? You might as well just do the transactions yourself, right?
If you're the young person, yeah, do it yourself. If you're going to get a host, I mean, what's the point of all of it for 25% if you brought it in? It's
exactly.
Not that you're going to leave.
Yeah.
Right? I think you need to give more, them see what maybe you're taking care of and what you deal with on a daily basis. One thing that we do is I every Monday I show the team the expenses. Hey guys, like, REW is $38.50 a month. It's just coming out monthly. There it is, right? And I think they look at it and, oh my God, you just order notepads, the guy's $7,000. Oh my, I think it's, if they see that too, there's like this mutual respect of, I'm really good here. Like, I got a seat here. You take on all that risk. So either I'm okay taking a little bit less, or that's amazing that you're giving me more, and they're going to stay. Right. I think they have to see what you take on.
We started doing that 2 years ago. It's a bit awkward, right? When you're like sharing income and expense statements with other realtors that are newer in the business, and they're thinking, holy shit, that guy makes a lot of money compared to I did 4 deals this year.
Right.
But then you're also sharing the expenses and knowing that you're starting negative a few $100,000 in the hole every year, because that's how much your business costs to run every year. It's intimidating. And so in a slow year, that number looks pretty freaking small, and it takes a lot to get to 0, right? To break even. We were talking about that earlier. Like 2019 was the slowest year we've had in our business. And I think it took to July or August to be at 0, right? Because me and Jamie are starting negative, whatever, a few $100,000 in the hole running the business.
Yeah.
It's intimidating.
It is.
Whereas, a realtor on our team does deal 1 and they're up $4,000.
Yeah.
Sweet. Sounds good on January 3rd.
What did it cost them?
Yeah. Cell phone.
Right. Cell phone.
Yeah.
Cell phone.
Cell phone and gas. Yeah.
That's about it. So that's I think that's another reason why it works so well. I think they see what I take on, respect that, are intimidated by that. So when I do offer them a little bit more, they're taking more of a share too. They look at it and say, well, that's like super fair, like super generous. And that's okay with me. I'm okay that you're taking the majority. As long as my costs are covered and I'm still getting compensated something, I'm fine with that. Because I know that I do enough of my own stuff where I'm fine. If I'm getting something for something else, I look at it as a bonus. Your deals, Nairi, are a bonus for me. Deb, you're a bonus for me. Because all that time that you take away, you take off my plate, hanging signs and lock boxes and opening for appraisers. Thanks for doing that. I appreciate that, because I would rather be home for dinner every night. Because 2016, 2017, those years, gives me anxiety. Like being out every night till 10:30 and just like eating garbage and just basically coming home, showering, going to bed and starting all over again. That was my life, right? That caused a divorce. We all get divorced because of that. Now,
put me in that category too.
Are you in that category?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I know that. I just feel like now, like the majority of it can be taken care of, right? And you know what? I'll meet you at 3 instead. Like, let's make it work. Let's have a phone call tonight instead. Like, I'd rather be home for dinner, but still do a bunch of work. But I've never appreciated being home more and doing the same kind of stuff at home instead of in a suit at 8 p.m.
What's your energy level like right now?
Energy,
not specifically today, but just like
not today, yeah.
Like
in
after
general,
a
with
crazy
the market?
2021.
Yeah, I was pretty.
2022 has been a weird roller coaster.
Yeah, I was pretty. It's been ups and downs, as we all have. It's been a lot harder. I'm kind of fearing that cold, dark mornings, rain, because that for me is just like it's a killer. I'm kind of fortunate because I have a lot going on at home. You know, running the farm, it clears my head. Like going out in the morning and like saying hi to these pigs and chickens and sheep and horses, and there's something there that gives me this extra fuel. But I don't take it lightly. Like every single deal, I still get that rush. I feel that rush. And then I instantly send that sub removal in and I feel that what's the next. I don't think that goes away for realtors. You feel that.
Yeah.
I still get excited when a deal comes together. My seller's sub removal. I love it. I love this career. But 2021 was a killer on the energy. And I think I realized I don't need, we'll set the goal, but I don't need to do that. It's just a lot to do. So I'm taking a lot of my focus away. Like the farm is good. The farm is really good. I can't wait to get up in the morning early and go outside and take care of the farm and help Tammy run the farm. And it's a blast. So I'm fortunate to have that to kind of take away the lull of just, where are we going? Where we go from here?
Yeah.
Right. So
is there times during the year where you're like actively burnt out and like looking for breaks, or have you figured that out in your career?
I've had so many, I probably had 3 or 4 like major burnouts over the last 5 years, just like transitioning into, like, where's the Devin and Nairi, right? Like, come on, Facebook post, hang a lockbox, meet the appraiser, do 3 contracts up. That to me, thinking about that too, is just, there are times when I've felt burnt out. This year, like, COVID was a weird one, but I kind of liked it for a bit. I kind of did. It was kind of like a forced, what the hell are we going to do? And I'll never forget, like, when the office sent that email out, and I'm like, what do you mean the office is closed? Where are we going to go? Like, because I'm a very office guy. I Monday to Friday, I treat it like a real job. I feel like when I dress up and show up, shit happens. It just like happens. The phone rings. Like, you know, I put a nice pocket square in Wednesday at 9. I'm going to get a lead because the pocket square is in, right? That's just me. Yeah. So when COVID came in and like, no, you're staying home, like the office is locked. I'm kind of like, shit, like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
So, and then after weeks and weeks and weeks of realizing, well, we're all in the same boat. Nothing's happening. So it was like a forced of kind of, you'll be fine. You'll be okay. Because like in this business, you got to have at least like a year's worth of income put aside because you never know what's going to happen, right? So once you figure it out, do it the right way, And it's just kind of, it is what it is, right?
Do you ever get exhausted with social media?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to stay on because the more and more that you're on there, and I like to do it. I like to show people the day in and day out. My business has exploded from it. I do it because I like to show people what I do, and I think it's not a fluke that 42 or 41 last year were from Instagram, just from Instagram, just like I've been following you since day one.
Yeah,
and I'd be like, that's awesome.
that's so cool.
You know, like my videos were ghetto before.
Yeah.
Now I have a videographer. Done deal. I'm with him forever.
Yeah.
Those people aren't leaving me.
Yeah.
It is hard, just like anything else. It's hard to stay on all the time. But I think the beautiful thing about just forget posts, right? Forget the flashy picture and that and the little quote. But like I think just like the power of Instagram stories shows people how you're feeling, how you're looking, what you got going on, your attitude from morning to night. And it's hard to put on a show all the time.
Yeah.
It's hard to fake all that all the time.
Yeah.
So my gold mine has been, this is what I got going on. And this is how I feel about this client. And this is a rock star win. This is a crazy loss. I lost $8,000 on this listing. They canceled it. People love to see that. They love to see real life, right? Go home. I'll feed some pigs. You should see the reactions. Like I get like 2 people comment about real estate a day, 40 people about feeding the pigs. I want to see these pigs. Bring up like pigs, like because we train them now to sit. They sit. It's hilarious. Bruno, he sits. So that's been for me. That's been a gold mine, and it is hard to stay on. But no matter what, no matter how I'm feeling, no matter how I'm dressed, when I'm home and just workout gear, this is it. Show a little something. Tell a story, right?
The reason I ask you is because I enjoy social media too. I enjoy this. I enjoy sharing clips of cool conversations with wicked people that are doing cool things. I enjoy sharing good and bad stories about real estate, but it is exhausting doing it. Mentally, physically, for some strange reason, I don't know why, but when I really enjoy the process of doing it, but afterwards I can feel fatigue. And so naturally I find myself
talking about it, doing it.
Yeah. So like we'll have video days we have a couple videographers now, and Kylie will show up and I'll do like an hour worth of little clip videos that she makes. And there's 8 or 9 of them in an hour. People think this takes weeks to produce.
Yeah.
It takes 45 minutes for me to do this with her. But at the end, I feel tired. And so I don't know what it is about it, whether it's like maybe it's less natural because there's a camera in your face and you're like trying to be an educator and be animated and like
say the right thing.
Sure.
I think you're getting so involved with the topics and giving your full feeling on it and your expressions. I think you give that and then, how do I feel? Oh yeah, that.
Yeah.
And how do I feel? Oh yeah, that. Like it is tough.
It is.
You know, try to bang out 20 TikToks. I'm like, man, I don't know if I got another one in me, man. Can I just skip? Like, let's just get a jump rope and just skip. Like, I know what you mean.
And so
because you're very passionate about what you do.
Absolutely. And so I watch your stuff and I see, man, this guy never takes a goddamn break. But
I get that.
But for me, like, this is where I'm going with this is I personally tried to not do social media for the month of August. I was like, August is normally a slow month for us. I'm going away for a week or so. I'm just going to like take it easy. And I feel refreshed.
I bet.
And like I came back after the Labor Day long weekend and I text Carl. I was like, we're doing a lot of podcasts this fall.
Because you feel good?
Yeah.
So one thing that I stopped doing, so I still show people what I do. I don't scroll.
Yeah.
So I don't even see what's going on.
Yeah.
When I'm at home at night, like, and it's about 8:30 to 9:30 and like we're kind of catching up on emails or just having a tea or whatever. I feel like an old man. I have a tea every night. But that's when I'll maybe take a look. But through the day, no, zero. I don't even bother. I'd rather just do my thing because 99% of the world is intimidated by other people. There's somebody out there that's always working harder than you. Somebody told me that one time, like, no matter what you're doing, Ty, there's somebody out there right now working harder than you.
It's a great mindset.
Don't stress about it. Somebody's doing harder work,
Yeah.
but somebody's miserable, single, whatever the case. So I make it a point. I'll show my day, but I won't look at others because I don't know. I am also, after this long, I am intimidated as well by other people. But you don't know the story. Maybe there's posting an old sold that they did 3 months ago. How the heck did that guy sell another one? Maybe it's 6 months old. But you just feel like you're in this constant competition, and real estate is a killer for that.
Huge.
Comparing yourself to others, going on the Royal page and seeing every day's solds and actives. We have like our bulletin. I don't look at that. I'd rather not. In fact, everybody knows Medallion and Medallion stats and all this stuff. I don't look at it till December 31st. I don't log in. I'd rather not. I'd never logged in during the year. And some people have that on a separate screen on their desk and watch it. That's no, I don't want that.
It doesn't make a difference.
It doesn't make a difference. And it shouldn't make a difference. And who cares where you are in this medallion? Nobody cares about your medallion. Just do what you're good at. Maybe tap into the world later on. So that's something that I started to do. And it's really like just giving my head a break. Because it's a lot. But my gold mine is that. So it's part of my business, right? But just showing my day-to-day, that's it. So it's been an incredible tool to just be able to scale. And to like confidently say, this is how you do 100 plus deals. This is how you can do 100 plus deals. It's actually not that hard to do 100 plus deals. If you do a good job, if you just did that 10 times the work on one person, you're just going to build all these gophers. We have all these gophers out there, and all they do is just shout out our name. Somebody says real estate, you've talked to Ty, right? That's what you want. And I tell Dev and Nairi, I'm like, let's go over the top. I know they moved in, they were a little pissed off. They were a little upset with the carpet. Get the carpet guy there. And that guy's stove, that element wasn't broken. Let's buy him a new stove. That's it. That's like, you're going to do what, Ty? Yeah, we're going to give you guys a check for $700. Let's get it. That's what people need to learn. You don't need to worry about the new business, because let me tell you, getting new business is hard as hell. The ones that you have are going to bring you tons of business.
Gary Vee talks about that all the time with like people asking him in conferences or whatever, how do you gain a following? And he's like, what are you doing with your current following? How many followers do you have? 1,000. How many comments do you get on a photo? 3, 7. Do you reply to everyone? No. There you go. That's it.
That's a good point.
Don't, like, the new business will come naturally. When you are treating your current database, your current clientele, your current consumer, like they are the most important human in the entire world, it snowballs very quickly.
Yeah.
And that is such a good example. Like, it was something I learned very early from Jamie, and Jamie is phenomenal at this. Possession day. Someone's unhappy because there's one crumb on the countertop. It is completely unnecessary to pay $400 for a cleaner. Cleaner's in there in 20 minutes.
I'll do it.
You could literally just pick the crumb and flick it out the window. Like, it's such small things, but it's the care for the person really valuing the entire experience with you. And if that is somewhat sour at the end, the difference of who are we talking about? Rob previously calling you back in 5 years, or
dude,
hey, let's call our friend Kevin.
If the finale was gold, yeah, that's it.
That's it.
And sometimes, like, unfortunately, sometimes it's a break even, or maybe a loss, or what you might think is a loss, but it's not. We had that situation during the madness. I think this was April. One of our clients paid. It was a Cloverdale record for over asking, like $526,000 over price on a detached. Yeah, 1.6 list. We got it for almost 2.2. 29 offers. I was the winning offer. Yay! But,
I know those ones don't feel good.
So, but they both sold their places and knocked it out of the park. So we're all in the same market,
sure.
Right? Rocked it,
sure.
Bought high. We get the possession. You can see they're drained. They went to the lawyers and did the old, didn't have that. They took everything out. And we open the front door and smell gas. And so we close the door. We smell, it's strong smell. So we call hydro, and there's a leak coming out of the hot water on demand fitting, pouring out the gas. So when the sellers were moving out, they had all their like fishing rods and all the stuff in the utility room. So when they went to move it all out, it cracked the pipe and it leaked gas. So now it's been like this, leaking gas for 3 days. It's been vacant. So we immediately call Terrace and Fortis. They shut it off. Figure out that the unit's broken. It needs to be replaced, of which they're $5,000, right? It's one of those combo units. So it's the hot water tank and the hot water on demand. There's no boiler anymore for the in-floor heat. So it's $5,800 installed, right? These people are they were broke. They put it all in on this house. And it was an emotional nightmare through the whole thing. Call the other agent, not willing to chip in at all. Sellers are not willing to chip in at all. I'm sitting there, well, we know where this is going to go, right? So they're like, Ty, we can't afford to pay this. And I'm like, guys, let me leave it with me. I'll figure this out and I'll come back. And so cleaners are there, carpet cleaners are there. They're happy because that's happening, but they're stressed because they have no hot water, no heat. So I just go and get a draft to them. They obviously were not expecting that. And they immediately wanted to give it back because they were super grateful people. But I said, guys, like this is it. This house is complete with this. It should have been working. Let's just move on. Let's move on. Don't write me any big, I don't want to know. Don't tell people about this. I won't mention it to anybody. Let's just make it work. And I left there and like, it wasn't the thing like, I'm going to get future business. It was like, these people were all in, and it's the least I could have done to make them back to here, like on a high again. They were on that high. And the messages that I got after from both of them were they just the most genuine, just like thankful humans. And like not even like to thank you, Ty. Like you're a good person, Ty. Like that meant a lot. You're a good person. And I'm kind of like driving home like, yeah, that feels good. It really does, And I want to be or know what they're doing in their life forever. Right? So that's just one of those things of you might consider it a loss, but you just got to make them happy. Mm-hmm. Right? Make Jamie style, make them happy. Just do it. And one day it's going to come back tenfold.
Our business is so strange, right? Because often we are in people's lives for, like, on the low end, 3 or 4 months every day.
That's one thing that I don't like about this business. It's so much. Yeah. And then they're gone. Yeah. It's like this relationships of, going to the Mirage. But North Surrey, quick few weeks, somebody.
Based on my experience in the Mirage, a little different, but
not mine either, but I was just trying to play a role there.
But like, think about like an accounting firm or a lawyer firm or like other professionals in Greater Vancouver. The relationship with the client is like very professional. It's like 1 hour every 6 months, right? You're talking to your accountant 3 times a year for a few hours, and you're sending them a bunch of receipts and they're doing your taxes and sending you a bill. It's very professional. Whereas like ours is like a lot of hours.
Morning and
in
night.
A short period of time, and there's texts going back and forth, there's emails going back and forth, there's multiple conversations, we're strategizing, we're becoming literally best friends. We're seeing each other every friggin' day, talking to each other every day. Yeah. And so it's such a cool relationship that we get to build with the consumers that choose to work with us. And it is often like lifelong relationships that just continue and continue and continue. That they're referring you to their friends, and then you're like reaching out to them and meeting them with their friend for a beer. And it's like, it's different than, I don't have any other professionals in my life other than mortgage brokers, because it's a working thing that you're connecting all the time, but like a lawyer or an accountant or whatever, that the relationship is the same as the realtor with a client. Mm-hmm. And I feel very fortunate to be in an industry that is not so transactional. It's really relationship based. And it is so much fun.
I like that. one thing that we always have is we say to our clients when it's kind of said and done is don't close this chat down.
Yeah.
Leave this chat. And we want to keep it going. And they are so receptive to that. They're like, we love that. We're going to miss you guys.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'll just, 6 months, and I'll just, guys, how you making out? Ty, Dev. And so the chat is there. There's so many good chats. When I smile when I look at it. I'm like, oh man, that was a win. Those are great. They're awesome. You're right. It's a lot of all of it, and then it kind of comes to an end. I feel like you still need to have. Well, there still is, but our business, we're lucky that we can have 6, 10, 12, 14 touches a year still, right? So I agree. The people that we meet through the way and really finding out their stories, where they are and what they got to and how much they love their home, makes you feel good.
That's the stuff that gets me through the mentally exhausting periods.
Yeah.
And they come every year. Naturally, our business is pretty cyclical, and we have a very busy spring season. Usually July and August are slower. Usually September, October are busier. Usually December is slow. So we kind of naturally get these like breaks where it's easy to get away. Your phone's not ringing like crazy. You're not getting 140 emails a day. You're getting 20. It's different. And so naturally we have these like opportunities to refresh ourselves. But in those like moments in 2017 and 2021 in May and June, when you're towards the end of the busy season and you're fucking exhausted.
Yeah.
It's those like texts and those reminders and those phone calls and those emails with like people that are so excited about every correspondence with you because they're achieving this like wicked goal. It propels you and it gets you out of bed and it like makes you stay up late. And I don't know other industries that have this type of relationship with a client. And it's very, very cool. That's why I love this industry so much.
Yeah, the highs and lows, they're there.
Oh yeah.
One thing that I've never learned really is what's kind of enough. Like when you're too busy, you say you're too busy, but then when it dies off ever so slightly, you're like, I wish I was there again. You know that feeling?
For sure.
And it goes to crickets.
Yeah.
You're not even like somewhat slower. You are crickets. It's either, it seems like it's that way. We're slow or we're cooking.
Yeah.
There's no like Dan Corsie mode. 2 deals a month.
It doesn't exist. No.
I like that mode. I look back and like think of, for anybody that wants to kill it and crush it and you don't have the help. And 2021, for example, I remember I'm in a presentation with an older couple that didn't have DocuSign and just needed me there to go through all this. And I'm sitting there and I remember finishing. Their house sold, crazy, hugs, had the tea. And I'm, this is face down for like 2 hours in a market where I had 3 buyers writing. We had 4 multiple offers. And I'm like, oh no, when I got to turn this over. So I turn this over and I have 67 WhatsApp chat green marks. And so I'm sitting in the truck for 3 hours, just responding to all of these chats. And I messaged Dev and I'm like, this is crazy, Dev. I like screenshotted it. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. Like we need help. And that's when Nairi came on. So if you really want to be busy and think it, you will handle it for a while, but I can't stress enough, like hiring the right help out of the gate, because that probably took like 3 years off my life. Those 67 green circles. That's crazy. Right? And everybody's very high stressed. So you got to remember in an active market, it's very emotional. It's like people don't think about things, right? The roof's leaking, Ty. What do? We need 40 grand off. Nobody. Like, well, listen, it's maybe $5,000 to fix those couple of boards. Like, let's just calm down. Yeah. So I still to this day, I don't know what I like or what I want. I like to be busy. I don't like to be crickets. But when it really dies off and turns off, now I'm kind of enjoying it a lot. Like I've had a couple days lately where it's been like nothing. And I'm like out back, like cleaning the sheep pen, just like loading some hay. This is kind of nice too. It's nice too. Because if you're a really good agent and you're good at what you do, business will always come. That's one thing that Dad told me is that like there's a bit of a lull, but get ready. Bunch are coming. Do a good job. And it's like that. Our business is like, it's just steady flow. And again, those flyers that I did, those notepads I did, those door hangers I did, none of them came from that. It came from the guy where I replaced his $5,800 hot water machine. And somebody said real estate in Earls and he overheard and screamed our name. That's where it comes from, right?
One thing Jamie mentioned to me, I think it was my first summer. I got licensed in 2014 March. So it was like July or August, and it starts slowing, and I'm like literally not knowing what the hell to do with myself. I have 15 minutes free. I have no clue what to do. What am I supposed to do? Jamie, what am I supposed to do? Is there like a door to knock on? Like, what should we be marketing right now? And he said, enjoy the slow period.
Yeah.
And so I try to stress that with the realtors on our team, because the three of them now are each at least 5 years into the business. And so they get it. But year 1, 2, 3, you're hustling and you're wanting to be busy all the time. And you have this slow month of August, and there's 2 weeks in a row where you have like 2 buyer tours and you're trying to figure out what the hell to do. What do you like to do outside of real estate?
Yeah.
Like play music, go to a concert, like surf. Like, what do you like to do? Do that. Do it in August. Enjoy it. Enjoy the slow period because it's coming back quick.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be asking me to start covering showings again. And like, you're going to be just overwhelmed.
Yeah. I never appreciated like going to a concert for a night or just going away. And like, it's crazy when you go away for a weekend. Maybe it's 2 nights, maybe it's 1, and it feels like a week for us because you're just not used to that change of environment, right? Like, Dev, I'm off, the calendar's blocked. I'm away for a day and a half. A day and a half feels like a week. What you're like, what day? We got to get, what's going on? When's a team meeting?
Yeah.
Right? Because you are so involved in everybody's life and the day to day. So I agree with that. Like those slow times, and like go for that picnic, go for that bike ride, go to that concert, go for a night to Whistler. It's good for your head. And you'll be a better realtor when you step back from it.
100%.
Do you take days off?
No,
Is there a day off set that you take?
absolutely not.
Okay. So
I have
for
no
them,
interest
they
in
have
that.
set days. I just kind of start the week. I figure out that, okay, these days are going to be a little slower for me, and I'll block that off as I go. But I'm the same. I don't have a set day. A lot of people do have that. I think if you're newer, you shouldn't do that. You just got to do what you got to go when you got to go. But you do got to take time.
I think everyone is very different, and I think everyone balance is different. This myth of work-life balance is garbage. Every single person, I think, needs to figure out what is the balance for them. And for me, I value the people that choose to work with us so much that if they text me and I say I have a day off and I don't reply for 24 hours, I'm doing them a disservice. So I really firmly believe that I can go away on a vacation, but my phone is always with me. I'm always answering text messages. I'm in the WhatsApp groups. I'm answering emails.
Yeah.
If I'm on the other end of that message and it's a 24-hour return time, I'm not impressed and I'm not using that person.
No, we're stressed at 15 minutes. I'm like,
100%.
Yo, Dad, what happened to you? Son, I look at my emails Tuesday at 9.
Yeah.
Come on.
And it's one of those
I'm
things.
kind of the same. I'm the same as you. I just go with the flow. When I go away, I'm still on. And I'm messaging people right away. But I'm loving the fact that I'm golfing here in California.
Yeah.
Right? Or I'm having lunch here.
But in between shots, I'm messaging, like I'm emailing people back.
But where else can you do that?
Totally.
There's not many other things where you can actively sell a house while counting up your triple bogey. You know what I mean? And that's why people, I think, yeah, it's a great career, but man, do you have to work hard? Do you have to do just a damn good job to be day in and day out, day in and day out. So the thing that I I realized that over the years, I realized that the more people that come into my office, new people, and like want to say hi, say like, I just want to come in and introduce myself. Such a compliment for people to see the good and hard work, and recognize that as another realtor, as another colleague, to recognize good hard work. That feels good. So I know we're doing something.
It's almost weird to think about. Like, because I look at you as one of, if not the leader in Greater Vancouver real estate for the way service and marketing is supposed to be. I'd like to put our team in that category, but like, there's very few. And so as a new realtor, like, I have a friend from high school who just got a real estate license, and he was over here a couple nights ago and
just got it?
Like 6 months ago, maybe. Something like that.
Good luck, buddy.
So a lot of his conversation, he just hears so many things from so many different people. He's like, someone told him, you gotta spend money on REW. Another person told him is like, you gotta do this. Another person is like, you gotta cold call 6 hours a day. Another person's right? There's so many things. And he's like, Denny, you've done it well. What the hell am I supposed to listen to? What am I supposed to do? And so it's just like, it's entertaining. It's challenging to give advice because my story is going to be very different than his story, is going to be very different than your story. You got to figure out what you can stay consistent with. And that was my big, I guess, summary of the whole conversation was consistency. Pick something and you got to do it consistently and continue to get better. Whether that is social media, whether that is door knocking and cold calling, whether that is like, there's no point, literally 0 point. You're just throwing money away if you donate $5,000 to realtor.ca for 2 months.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Are you prepared to do that for the next 10 years?
That's funny you say that, because every larger decision that we make, whether it's a REW ad or suppliers, the commitment's 8 months. Like it's 8. Because I know at 6, it's noticed. 8 to 12, it's like recognized.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a flyering marketing campaign, whatever it is. It's a year to get it going. So if you commit to something, that's it. It's a year.
Do you do any like networking entrepreneur groups?
We have some mastermind groups that we're in, which is nice. Meet with other colleagues. I guess.
Is it all real estate?
No. CEOs, business owners. It's nice to meet with other people, non-real estate.
I'm in one, and the whatever they're called, administrator, there's like someone who runs them and schedules them and whatever. At the beginning of the last one, he says, I want you each to ask the group a question. It can be about anything. So one of the people were going around and everyone's giving their answers and there's a bunch of discussion. Then the next question was, what's your oak tree idea? Or what is your oak tree process that you're building in your business? And naturally people are like, what are you talking about? What's this oak tree? And he's like, what seeds are you planting today? They're going to pay off in your business in 10 years from now. Like the tree is going to grow. It takes a lot of time, but you're not getting any benefit from it in the next 12 months. And I thought that was a really interesting idea. And the first thing that came to mind for me was the real estate podcast. And I think it costs us a lot of money right now. Every month we're paying producer Carl. We're paying to advertise it on social media. We're like, it costs money. It costs our time. And I'd say the return is very little. But in a decade from now, and starting next week, we're going to be marketing it a lot better in the hopes of education, right? Like our goal with the podcast is to share knowledge that a lot of realtors don't know, but most consumers don't know. And so we just want, like, the interesting thing about our business is 99% of transactions that you do are with another agent. Mm-hmm. So if that agent is more educated, is better, it communicates better, knows how to write a proper contract, knows how to negotiate based on sales, and like, they're going to go smoother. It makes your job easier, makes your job funner.
Yeah.
So this is our whole thing with the podcast is education for realtors and consumers. So that was my answer to this thing. Do you have an oak tree idea? Do you have like an oak tree process? Do you have something that like you're spending a lot of time, energy, money on today that you're seeing in a few years from now, a decade from now, that is going to be a big?
I spend a lot of money every month on my business, on all different things. We know where every penny is spent. Our business tracker shows the returns on the money. And if you're not 3-1 on your money spend to return, kick it, get rid of it. You should be getting at least 3-1 back for every dollar you spend.
Do you think it's that simple?
Is it that simple? No, but I feel like it's not worth it.
Because how do you track? But how do you track the power of the social media that you've posted in the last 8 years?
You can't track that. What I can track is every person I can contact with. Is how'd you get my name? And then I got to let Diane know. This guy in Trello. This is where he's from. This is where he's from. This is where he's from. I like to see that. I like to see it's working. Mm. Some things are working better than others. Even though something's not working, it doesn't mean it's not working. It's like a flyer, right? It's recognized, but they're not calling you. It's still working. That's why consistency is so huge. Like you say, I was like the flyer guy. Like Mail Out Monday was like my thing for 10 straight years. Weekly,
I know.
Send 1,000, 1,200, 1,000, 1,200 every week. It paid off, but it didn't pay off as much as this. Video and like the way you talk, the way you speak, you can. I already know you, before I really know you. Okay, I don't know. I come in here and just know you're a good dude, just because I see you all the time. You can't make it up, right? So if you're a person that wants to try new things, like you say, consistency, I would say get on the video. Forget the door knocking. Get on the video. Give people educational stuff. Provide value. Let the interactions flow. I did a TikTok the other day on that. We're predicted to drop another 30% or whatever the hell it was. And the interactions were nuts of just the general public. It's going more than that, bud.
Yeah.
You're a greasy realtor, bud. Like, I'm like, yeah. And like, but you know what? Every comment, TikTok algorithm, up, up. And the quicker I comment on back to it, up. Trick is to reply to all these. You mentioned before, Gary V. Yeah. Gary V, by the way, did a seminar. I think it was in Reno, and it's on YouTube. I'll send you the link. It was unbelievable. He did it for all realtors, and he talks about the next kind of 3 years in the real estate game and the importance of video and social media. And you should be posting, I think he said 6 to 10 times a day.
Yeah.
Every day, 7 days a week. And it's not a post. A story is a post.
Sure.
Something 6 to 10 times a day or you'll get decimated.
Yeah.
He asked who's using TikTok in the crowd, and I would say 10% of the crowd put their hand up. He asked the crowd who was making money off TikTok and video, and one young gentleman put his hand up, and he did like 55 transactions last year off of TikTok videos, and the whole crowd was just amazed. And then you got 45-year veteran buddy plowing out his 25, and this guy brand new in the business, 55. You can bet your ass that these guys are going to smoke us. So you got to get on there now. And TikTok is a younger crowd. Average video watch is 2.6 seconds. That's the watch on a TikTok. So you better hook it quick. That's your hook, right? 15 seconds max. Good hook. But all those 18 to 25-year-olds, because that's the generation of TikTok, are saying, Mom, Dad, you got to list with Denny. This guy's a cool cat. He's a good dude. That's where you're getting those leads. They're telling their grandma and they're telling their parents. So it's a lot different than people calling you saying, I've been following you, man, like on Instagram. You know, it's 40-year-old. They've been following me for 5 years. But the 18-year-old, to see Denny's just crushing the content. He's constant. He's giving good tips. You can have some funny stuff on there, which is good. I mean, these reels that you can do are hilarious. Some of them take off. Some people get a ton of business from it. But if you're consistent with the video and the social media, I'm telling you right now, you're going to do 50 plus deals a year.
What is so you're doing a lot of TikTok. I do zero.
I wouldn't say a lot. I've got into it a lot in the last 90 days.
Okay.
By consistently posting my reels that I've done professionally filmed onto TikTok and just choosing a trending song and making sure the TikTok is no more than 20 seconds, max 20 seconds, but like making sure that I have a good hook, right? What is that? Like, here's how I made an extra 30,000 a year in real estate. Who doesn't want to know that, right? That was a big viewed video. I went to the same coffee shop every Tuesday, chatted with everybody in there, met a bunch of people, and sure enough, a bunch of people use me, right? Simply by getting a coffee once a week at the same spot. That's how I made an extra 30,000 a year from that coffee shop. So it's like that. It's just that hook. Like, give people that, that's good, right? Your Facebook ads are being rejected because of this. Oh, I got to know this because they're all getting rejected. Where's my money going, right? So you got to provide a really good hook. And that's what TikTok's important for that. Just like you got to get it off the bat. Thinking of content to do, if I was to give some advice, you better have at least 2 to 3 months worth of content planned and booked. Because it's a lot easier to film 20 at a time than it is to go film out 2.
Yeah.
Just crank out 20. Just get in the mindset and crank it out. As people try social media and videos, I would say on average for realtors, like I could count on my hand 33,000, 3,200 realtors in Fraser Valley. We don't have near what you guys have. We have like 3,200. I would say 5 of them, all males currently, are recognized on video as a realtor. There's no female. I can't believe it. We have so many awesome female realtors and not one of them stand out in video. The potential there is wild.
The one that I follow that I see often and pretty consistently is Christy Macero.
Yeah, Christy's in our office.
Yeah.
She has a team as well. She's a really good realtor. Doesn't do a lot of like content stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of. It's just more of the day-to-day, which is great, but not all the time in face.
Yeah.
There's no one that stands out like that. So if you're a female realtor, the potential is wild. It's wild. And so all these people try it and you kind of see them on video and you think, oh, he's trying it. Awesome. Denny, here he goes. And then 2 weeks later, he's gone.
Yeah,
no more video.
That's it.
No more intros in your video. No more educational videos. So if you stay consistent with the video, your business will like 3x.
So this is when I had this meeting with my buddy, young realtor. And this happens pretty often. Like I get a lot of, you probably do too. First year realtors message you on Instagram saying, hey, can I meet you for a coffee, ask you questions? And it's the same message is like consistency is huge. But
how do I make $1 million? Well, man, you got to get a rock. No,
yeah.
You got to, yeah, those questions are asked a lot.
And then, so this guy had talked to a bunch of people and he had so many different ideas. I said, okay, well, what is the purpose of cold calling and door knocking? What is the purpose? It's like to get a listing. I said, exactly. It's very, very, very short-term thinking. Once you stop doing that, so let's say you do it for 6 months. Maybe it results in a lead or 2. Great. You need to eat. It helps. But if you stop after 6 months, dead. All the work that you had done in cold calling and door knocking means nothing. Yeah. Literally zero. Do you have a website? No. That's important. Because every single day you can post a blog, you can post video, you can post new listings, you can post like Joe's top 6 picks of the week.
Yep.
Whatever. Foreclosures of the week. We might start seeing foreclosures soon.
You might.
And guess what that does for you? Long term. What? Well, you're just consistently building. You're building more SEO. You're building a really, really, really powerful marketing machine. It takes a lot of time and effort to do that. But every single minute that you're putting in and piece of content that you're putting into this website, to your social media, to whatever, is consistently growing.
And you look like a busy realtor. People like to see people active. Where did Denny go? See, where did he go? No, stay on there. I think that's one thing that I benefit from is like you're always on. You're always on because I'm always showing it. And it comes natural wherever I am just to make sure I show people what's working for me. If there's no, if I'm getting 80 listings a year, people want to know how. This is what works.
Back to what we started talking about is like new agents into this industry. How do you succeed? And being part of a team, gives you so many benefits. One of which is you're seeing 100 transactions that basically propels you. You mentioned 5 years into your career. You have someone to go to at any time of day for advice on a contract and a term that you've never seen before. But I think the biggest thing is it gives you unlimited ammo to show the world that you're now being a busy realtor. You're not involved in every transaction.
Nobody knows. Nairi says the same thing to me. Well, it's not my listings. Why should I post them on my thing? It's the team's.
You're part of the team.
You are involved in this.
You're at the house showing.
You came to the
talk
house.
about it.
You're
at the photo shoot. Talk about it.
I agree. If you don't have anything to talk about and you don't have any listings to show, it's hard to look busy. But when there's stuff going on, post it. Post it. Show people you're rocking it.
It took a few years, but it got to the point where like I have some friends that have siblings or cousins or like in-laws that are realtors. And so when they're buying and selling, they're using the in-law. Get it. But they're calling me and asking me for my advice before they're signing a contract with their in-law.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is almost like a bigger fuck yeah than getting their listing.
Because deep down, you know.
I love it. I love it.
You know that
they know.
They know that you're the guy.
They know.
But we're going to give little Liam here an opportunity, right?
Yeah,
Liam, he's eating Nutri-Grains. He's got to get off the nudies.
We have
He's
to.
got to
My
get
brother
into a
would be
steak.
pissed. I don't use his wife. My brother would be upset.
I feel that feeling when you just said that.
Yeah.
I've had it before. Ty, we're gonna list, with my wife's nephew. Just got it. What do you think? Where do you think we should be? That to me that's a compliment.
Yeah.
Because like I know if the Liam isn't around, you were listening together, but give the guy a chance, And the way that I react towards you telling me that, the next one's mine. Then right? I've done videos before on like burning bridges, and for sale by owners, expiries, losing listings. I love those. We have generated letters that we send to those people. So when I lose a listing or somebody is for sale by owner or somebody expires, they get a letter from me. For sale by owners, I send them a congratulations. I let them know that I'm excited for them, that they're giving a shot on their own.
Yeah.
They're trying to save money. And I'll be in contact with them weekly to let them know where we're at in the market. And I hit them every week. I keep hitting them. And I'm not burning a bridge on anything. I'm go for it. Just keep doing it. Maybe you will save some money. But at the end of the day, I'm there. Losing a listing is important to be happy about it. Let them know that the realtor they chose is a good realtor. We're all trying to do a good job. So your chances are we're up against somebody that does a good job. So I let them know they're going to do a good job for you. And, if it expires because they listed too high, because they didn't list to us, they might come back to us, right? Or the next one, maybe they're going to buy and use us for the next one because we had a really good relationship. They were shocked that I answered like that. Denny's a great guy. He's going to sell your house for a ton of money. I appreciate the opportunity. Your house is beautiful. And let's just stay in touch. I feel like they will because they don't expect that. They'll be like, huh?
Totally.
What? Ty, we gotta use Ty again. We gotta give him a shot on the next one. We got that condo. Let's get rid of it. Let's call Ty. So that's one thing that I'm really good at is just always staying positive and just looking at the bright side because like something will come from it. And that for sale by owner will call you and say, you persistent little shit. And that's what happened with one for sale by owner in particular, Henry Lee. One of my favorite all-time clients. Guy was in his 90s trying to sell all his condos for sale by owner, the Leader newspaper in Surrey. And I called him up and he said, you persistent little shit. So I listed it. But the tact that I said to him is that, listen, Henry, you're in the paper at 150. It was 149.9, little condo in Newton. And I said, why don't we put it for 169.9? You get MLS service and you net the same, if not more. And he's like, huh? How does that work? I'm like, listen, minus the commissions. If I sell it for 155, you are going to make money. If you said 140 is your bottom line and I sell for 155, you are making 3,000. And he goes, I'll give it a shot. So we list for 169. We sell for 168 in 3 days. He netted 9K more than what he was going to ask for. He netted 9,000 more.
Yeah.
And he says to me, I have 4 more of these. So we sold 4 more. That was the best. It was just the best. He has since passed on. But, just the persistence, staying positive. If somebody says no, respect the no, but keep giving them value too.
My brother bought a house with someone else.
Your brother?
2 years ago. Year and a half ago.
Is his name Liam?
No.
Okay.
And I had a few people ask me about it. And I said, I congratulated him. I brought him a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
And I said,
was it one of his buddies?
It was like a guy he went to high school with. And yeah. Anyway, the point of the story is you got in this business, in any sales business, your reputation is the only thing that matters.
It is.
Whether it is building a reputation online with your website and your social media, or your in-person reputation, how you treat people, how you respond to those situations. What is the purpose? What is it going to do when you cuss someone out? Like I had a buddy in high school buddy who I probably showed like 25, 30 condos to 5 years ago. And then he calls me one day. We had lost on a couple multiple offers. I think this is 2016. Calls me one like a few days later and he's like, man, I feel terrible. I'm like, dude, just talk to me. Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's like my landlord just called and said they're thinking about selling the condo. So they're going to have a realtor come in and take photos and stuff. And I asked him if we could buy it because we really like this place. I said, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I don't really know what to do. We've had these conversations, but we've talked about a number, but and I said, excellent. What are you doing in 30 minutes? He's like, well, I'm at work. I said, okay, I'll come by. I'll bring a contract. I'll show you how to write it. You tell me if you want subjects in there. You tell me what the details are. I'll just white out my name and my brokerage and I'll help you with the subject removal and get it. If you want to buy this thing? He's like, yeah, we really like it here. Okay, awesome. So I help him. He buys the condo. He's very grateful. I give him a high five, bring him some beer, celebrate with him. 2 years later, he goes to sell that, buys a duplex with me. That was 2 years ago. And in the last 24 months, I've done 6 transactions with his family.
That's a great story.
It's all about your reputation. Any young realtor out there.
But you never thought, at the time that you wrote that, you never thought about what's this going to bring me in the future.
No, you think about helping people, right? Real estate is so intimidating for so many consumers, right? It's a lot of money. A lot of people in Greater Vancouver, what's the average income in Greater Vancouver? 50, 60 grand. They're saving pennies every single month to try to afford that step up to the townhouse or whatever it may be because they just had a second kid, whatever. It's a people business. You got to understand that so many emotions are involved in buying a house for your family, for your kids, for your dog, whatever, the neighborhood, the school. It's not about money. It's about relationships.
Relationships. Listen, so important. Colleagues, relationships, how you treat each other, that lasting impression. 3 years into the business, I was 25 years old and I met a guy from Remax Pro Group in Ladner. He has retired since. Russ Nugent was his name. He was an absolute beauty.
Yeah.
I'll never forget this. It's the way that that other realtors should treat each other. We're talking about a condo in Newton for 160 grand and my listing, and it's possession day. So I'm going to meet him there. And Russ pulls up in his little Cadillac and he's a beauty. He's kind. He's polite. He's thankful for the service. And he opens his trunk and he has a bottle of wine. And I'm thinking he's for sure bringing this to his buyer. Right. And he gives it to me. And he says, this is for you and your girl. It's one of my favorites. My wife and I love it. Pair it with a nice steak. It's just delicious. It's one of my favorite wines. And I've never at that moment got a bottle of wine from any realtor or a gift. And just the way it made me feel, it was $20 out of his jeans. But the way he said it, the way he gave it to me, it was his personal favorite. He didn't just go grab it. He grabbed like one that was his favorite. And he said to me, like, you provided the Stratadox when you could. You came and opened up for access because I didn't have a lockbox key. Like, I appreciate that. At that very moment, the way I treated people changed. I think about Russ all the time. I have his address where he retired to on the island, and he's just a beauty. That moment in my career changed the way I treated other realtors. So Dev and me make it a point on possession day that we bring a bottle of wine to that realtor. And every single time they're shocked. They think that I'm going to give it to their client. What's this for? Every single person says the same thing. What's this for? I'm like, Dev, best $20 we're ever going to spend, because they're going to remember that. And chances are we're going to get involved in something somewhere. There's some listing and we're not on that side. They're on the other side. And they're like, Ty and Dev, they brought us that wine that time, right? Smallest gesture that you can do as an agent is treat somebody else like that, like the way they want to be treated, especially in this market and relationships, and they'll remember you forever. And Russ, I remember that day. I remember how I was feeling. I remember what you did for me. And it's a good feel-good story of just a really good person.
For some reason, in most interactions with realtors, people think their natural reaction is defensive. Their natural thought process is, I'm going against this guy and we're going to butt heads and someone is going to pull the tug of war farther than the other and they're going to win.
Yeah.
It's not the truth. The truth is we're working together to help people, to put them in the situations that they want to be in, right? Seller Jane wants to sell their condo for $500,000. Buyer Jim is buying his first condo. Jane's trying to go upsize, right? Like,
right.
There needs to be more camaraderie, man.
Yeah.
In this stuff. And when you get a phone call from a buyer's agent and says, hey, your seller signed a contract and they said they were going to professionally clean it and it is not clean.
Right.
Can you help me out?
Right.
The answer should be not go fuck yourself. It should be like,
but the way that you ask that, I think that changes everything. Not sending some email saying, hey, do you actually read your contracts, bud?
Yeah.
I'm going to hang out with Liam. Like, you need to, when you say, you know what, Danny, like that was in the contract, man. Like, is there any way, do you want to go halfers on this? Like, I'll line it up. You go halfers. Are we cool? I'll send you the invoice. It's going to be yes. It's going to be, let's do it to make them happy. But I won't mention the realtor's name, South Surrey Townhouse, Unit 93. We just ended up selling it. And this realtor says to me, the dishwasher isn't working. What are you going to do about it? That's the message. Possession day was on a Saturday and they didn't go into the unit till 2.5 weeks later. So could something have happened after that? Maybe, right? Was there a professional inspection there? Yeah, we had one and it was working fine, but it's not working now. Well, the way that you asked me that, if you would have just changed the scenery, we would have maybe figured something out. But instead, nope, you got an inspection and you moved in 14 days later, right? So the relationships are important. Show me the respect off the bat. We're gold. We're gold. You want $200 from me for cleaning? Heck yeah, it's going to be in your inbox in a second.
If they had brought you a bottle of wine on possession day and said, Ty, thanks so much. You were great to work with. Thanks for providing the Stratadox. And then they called you 2 weeks later and they said, Ty, I'm really sorry to make this phone call, man. Like, it sucks. My buyers took a couple weeks to move in. I'm not sure why. I don't know what happened in those 2 weeks. Maybe a mouse got into the house. Maybe it chewed up the drainage pipes of the
dragonfly, man.
Of the dishwasher. I don't know. But this thing's leaking now.
Of course we're going to figure it out.
Exactly.
Of course we're going to figure it out.
But not like, bro, you fucked up.
Danny, you fucking clown. You shouldn't wear hats all the time. You know what, man? It's interesting because the wine story now sticks with me, and I love bringing the wine to other realtors. But a lot of other realtors are too busy, or they say, "Can you meet my client?" It happens.
Yeah.
And so I'll go there, and I have this bottle of wine, so I give it to the buyer, and I say, "Hey, congratulations on your home." I've had multiple calls back over the years of just it's that final piece. Their guy didn't show up. I did a walkthrough. I showed them I got the house clean for them. The carpets are washed. Yeah. Here's your shutoffs because we didn't go through that. Just come on. Like give them That's what they need. If you can't show up on possession key day for your client, you shouldn't be selling real estate. That is the time to shine. They didn't sleep last night. They haven't been asleep for the last 3 nights waiting for keys, and you didn't show up. Make it work. Right? I don't know. I'm amazed at just why people don't. I'm the one giving your client a bottle of wine, and not on purpose, because you didn't show up. It's just what I do. The wine's got to go somewhere. So your buyer gets it. And he gets my fridge magnet too, and a notepad. But just do good. Just do good. Just do good. Just do good. And like your first response to everything, just step back, take a breath, and let's make it work. Right?
Maybe we'll wrap up, but that was a good way to finish, I think, is realtors. If your number one goal is to make a paycheck, this career is going to be a struggle. If your number one goal is to make people happy, it's going to be such a phenomenal, fun ride.
You'll benefit early in your career. That's how I find it. Yeah, your business will explode. Be consistent. Have good relationships. Just enjoy it.
All this stuff matters, right? Like all the marketing matters. All the social media, all the content built up over the last decade, it matters a lot. What matters more than that is the way you treat the people that you're working with.
100%. Cheers to that.
Absolutely.
Good in there.